Good morning. Happy Monday morning to you. I started my day off today going through a few emails, and I saw one that was from the Wiggles. Now, my kids are no longer young enough to enjoy the music of or the videos, TV shows, whatever of the Wiggles. I mean, they don't hate it, and they do remember it, but they don't like flock to it like they used to. So, and that's understandable because it's geared towards children. For those of you that have never heard of them, they're a band out of Australia that are specific to children's entertainment. And they were extremely popular starting back, I think, in the 90s. And they're still popular to this day. Now, when we went to see them, this is like 13, 14 years ago, um, we saw one of their live shows here in town, and it was the original lineup, which was cool, but they were about to cross over to a new group, a new lineup where 3 out of the 4 members were going to be replaced. And those new people were there too, so it was kind of cool to see them all live and in person. Um, that said, there's way too much about the Wiggles that I found kind of interesting in a tabloid, salacious kind of way, which is strange. I've watched not one, but 2 different documentaries about them. One of which was pretty recent. They put it out on Amazon. I think it's called Hot Potatoes. I know way too much of their music. I know they put out a dance remix version of their music just about a year ago. I listened to way too much of it. Um, but looking back at the history, you had the 4 guys. You had Anthony, Greg, Murray, and Jeff, and they each wore a different colored shirt. Um, so that was how they identified. They identified as the yellow wiggle, the blue wiggle, the purple, the red. So once they crossed over, oh wait, even before that, they had a big shakeup. One of the main members, Greg, he had health problems that were causing him to either fall down or collapse on stage. So he left the group, and a guy named Sam took over as the Yellow Wiggle. And that made the news big time, especially in Australia. Um, but what I didn't know when all of that happened was that since Greg was a founding member, he, of course, had about a quarter share in the group. And when he left the group, he basically sold his share. He no longer had a share in the group. When Sam was brought in, he was never given quite that bit of ownership to the group itself. He was more of a, I'm not going to say a wiggle for hire, but more or less, right? So at some point, Greg felt better and decided he was going to come back to the group. At this point, they basically gave Sam the heave ho. He had been there for several years. He had proved to be pretty popular as the Yellow Wiggle. And that was the end of that. Now, he went on to have a career on his own, but he was no longer associated with the Wiggles. But not long after that, they decided it was time to retire, which is even weirder because I think Sam would have gone on longer had that not happened. Um, so here they are years later. Um, they're almost unrecognizable. They changed the lineup back, like I said, around 13 years ago, and it was instead of the original 4, you had Anthony, the original Blue Wiggle, who ended up being basically the de facto leader of the group. I didn't realize that he and his brother, who's a producer for the group, were the ones that were actually running it as a business. So you had Anthony, the Blue Wiggle, and then you had Lockie, the new Purple Wiggle. Murray was replaced by Simon, and Greg was replaced by Emma. Now, Emma proved to be very popular. She ended up with her own spinoff show, which was popular. She married the Purple Wiggle, Lockie. That didn't last very long. I don't even know if it lasted a year, but they were divorced pretty shortly after they got married. And then suddenly she left. Now they have a completely new lineup. They've still got the three from the first shakeup. So they've got Anthony still leading the group. They've got Lockie and Simon still, but now they've got two of each color. I think they might have even more by now. I haven't really paid attention. But the last I saw, they had at least two of each color, including one of whom was a dancer with the group for years. She's now one of the Red Wiggles. Uh, I think Anthony's daughter is now one of the Blue Wiggles. So the two blues are both the same family. I could be wrong about that, but it's just interesting. And there were things like there was a tabloid rumor started about Anthony having an affair with one of the dancers in the group. Um, and she's the one that's the Red Wiggle now, which is kind of weird. It makes you wonder, like, was it a rumor? Do you know? But anyway, yeah, I know way too much about a children's music band. I don't know why. I don't know why I find the whole thing so interesting. So, have you listened to the Wiggles? Are you a fan? Did you have kids? Did they drive you nuts? Do the songs give you a headache, or is it a fond memory? Let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. Oh, and I've got merch out there now. I have a new spread shop. So if you go to mmotld.myspreadshop.com, you'll get to see the merch out there for this channel. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.